G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, I'm about to play a recording, and it's an interview that ABC's Philip Adams did with Jeffrey Watson SC, who's a director of the Centre for Public Integrity, which is an organisation set up to try and keep the government honest. Now, it relates to the NACC, the National Anti-Corruption Commission, refusing to investigate 6 people recommended from the Robodebt Royal Commission for investigation. Now, you hear Philip Adams say there's a rumour that one of the people referred to the National Anti-Corruption Commission by the Robodebt Royal Commission is a former cabinet minister. And you'll hear Jeffrey Watson, senior counsel, a barrister, say that it has to be. Jeffrey Watson draws that conclusion because there were 6 people referred to the National Anti-Corruption Commission, but 5 of those were also referred to the Australian Public Service Commission, which leaves 1 person. And the radio interview was broadcast on the 12th of June 2024, so let's have a listen to it.
So we know the sealed section in Catherine Holmes' report referred 6 people. 5 of those are clearly public servants. That leaves 1 who was rumoured to be a former cabinet minister. Dear, oh dear.
Well, it's got to be. That's the only option. It's quite clear that there is at least 1 politician involved, somebody who's not subject to the Public Sector Act and somebody who is in a position to make the critical decisions. It can only be a politician.
Is this something that should have been taken into account by the NACC because the APSC can't?
Well, do you mind me saying? Of course, yes. You're completely right. This is why we had a NACC, which was so that we could expose this, not with that kind of retribution, revenge or punishment in mind, but you know what? Just to remind politicians that somebody is looking over their shoulder, will catch them out, and that they will be exposed if they do not do their job properly.
Rick Morton in the Saturday paper, quote, "The right thing now would be to open the sealed section of the Robodebt Royal Commission. The institutions in which the Commissioner put her faith have failed."
I couldn't agree more. I think now that decision lies with the Attorney-General.
Now, Philip Adams says there was a rumour that one of the people referred to the NACC, National Anti-Corruption Commission, was a former cabinet minister. Jeffrey Watson says one of them had to have been a former cabinet minister, but they don't say who it is. But I make out the case that it's definitely Scott Morrison. And I say that for a number of reasons. I'll read you out a few quotes that's been written about Scott Morrison, what the Royal Commission said about Scott Morrison. Now, the Royal Commission summed it up as a human tragedy, Robodebt scheme. And they said it started off as a budget measure introduced by the Abbott government, expanded by the Turnbull government, and defended until the last minute by the Morrison government. The Robodebt scheme was not an innocent mistake. It has been well reported that the Royal Commission's report is scathing on the former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, former Government Services Minister Stuart Robin, former Department of Human Services Secretary Catherine Campbell. Now, Catherine Campbell was stood down a couple of days after the Robodebt Royal Commission handed their report to the government. I'm sure her name's in the sealed section, but we don't know. But it's almost certain for a number of reasons, which I make out in an article. She was stood down a couple of days after the government got their report. Then a couple of days after that, she resigned. And the National Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Paul Brereton, didn't make the final decision on whether the NACC will investigate because he said there was a conflict of interest. Didn't say what it is, but I've written numerous articles showing the relationship between Paul Brereton and Catherine Campbell. But the Royal Commission said this about Scott Morrison. He failed to meet his ministerial responsibility to ensure that the Cabinet was properly informed about what the proposal actually entailed and to ensure that it was lawful. So Scott Morrison was accused of misleading Cabinet in relation to Robodebt, but the Royal Commission went a lot further. And I wrote an article on the 8th of July 2023 titled "Scott Morrison Adds Perjurer to his resume after findings of the Robodebt Royal Commission." And it starts off the first paragraph. Former Prime Minister was found to have given untrue evidence under oath at the Royal Commission into the Robodebt scheme, which means he can now add perjurer to his long list of crimes. And on the 9th of June 2024, I published an article how NACC Commissioner Paul Brereton hopped into bed with Robodebt Royal Commissioner Catherine Holmes to cover up Robodebt crimes. And if you ever read those 2 articles, put them together, I think there's very little doubt that Scott Morrison was referred to the National Anti-Corruption Commission by the Robodebt Royal Commission to be investigated for alleged crimes. So as you currently have it, the federal government, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, the Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, are protecting Scott Morrison. And as you heard at the end of that extract of that interview between Philip Adams and Jeffrey Watson SC, the Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, can lift that sealed section or publish that sealed section of people who were referred to the National Anti-Corruption Commission for criminal investigation. Now, other cabinet ministers also gave evidence to the Robodebt Royal Commission. There was Alan Tudge, Stuart Robb, Christian Porter, Maurice Payne and former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. Now, it could be one of them who was referred to the NACC, but I doubt it very much. The number one suspect, it has to be Scott Morrison. I think it's almost definitely him. That's why I've named him. He can sue for defamation if he wants, but I doubt he's going to. But that's one of the key issues there. The fact that it is all in secret leaves us up to a guessing game. These people are politicians, they're former politicians, and we're entitled to know. Now, as a side note, Senator Linda Reynolds has called Scott Morrison as a witness in her defamation case against Brittany Higgins and her husband, David Shiraz. And the thing is, we're entitled, we should know that before he gives evidence. I don't think he will give evidence. I think he'll chicken out. But as it stands, Linda Reynolds has called him as a witness, and we're entitled to know if he's under criminal investigation for potential, say, perjury, the Robodebt Royal Commission, before he gives evidence at Linda Reynolds' defamation case. Now, the National Anti-Corruption Commission's decision not to investigate the 6 people the Robodebt Royal Commission referred to him is now under investigation by the Inspector of the National Anti-Corruption Commission for allegations of corruption by the NACC. So they're under investigation for corruption themselves. So there's still a lot to play out here, and I'll keep on following up, and I'm still in the process of putting a lengthy video together. I'll call it a documentary on this issue, and I should be able to publish it in the next few days. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I publish a website and a YouTube channel, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, so please support my Patreon account. We currently have 426 patrons donating $2,416 a month, and I need to almost double it to become financially viable. And you can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out in a big way. And the link for the Patreon account is below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share this video on social media, and please hit the like and subscribe button. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.